check 1 2. Hello, and welcome everybody to CWK Live. This is your weekly place for some Star Wars community and conversation, CWK style. I'm your host, Dan Z. Thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Thank you for bearing with me. I was trying to fix some images for tonight, and then I realized I had less than a minute until the show was on. I'm like, oh shoot. So that was what you heard me saying as I was getting ready. Suddenly the lights got a lot darker in here, so I don't really know why that is. We're going to try to fix it. Hello, everybody. Let's bring in Minta. Hello, this is the way. It's CWK Day. Hello, Minta. Daniel, good evening to you, my friend. Brian, happy CWK Monday. Mary is here as well. Mary, help me with the mic check. Thanks, Mary. Of course, Mason Z is here. Hello, Mace. Then we've got Liberty. Hello, Liberty. Good to have you back on the show. Matthew is here too. Hey, Matthew, what's up, buddy? Ross says, hit it, Max. I mean, Dan. There you go. Max Rebo, Dan's there. We've never seen each other in the same place at the same time. Think about that. Hello, Amber. What's up, Amber? Blake, hello, my CWK fam. Definitely. Yes, it's moonlighting for sure. I'll have to fix that later. Mark, it's good to see you, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you all very soon. Come celebration. Jamie is here. Hello, Jamie. Good to see you, buddy. All right, this is going to be a great time. We've got a fun show for you tonight. We've got top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett, The Gathering Storm. We've got some Star Wars news and, of course, your comments and questions. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. All right, so the big news this week, I'd say, I'll just pull in the picture for us. I believe I have one here. Yeah, I do. I'm just going to cover myself up for a minute. But look what's coming on April 5th. Actually, I have a better idea. Let's do this. Let's go back a screen. We'll go here to me. Now we'll bring this in. April 5th. Lego The Skywalker Saga is coming out. We finally have an official date, official announcement. Lucasfilm Games announced that the highly anticipated Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga will arrive April 5th, 2022. We've got a brand new trailer that you can check out, featuring the biggest look yet at the gameplay, worlds, and humor of Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, featuring, by the way, a dancing bantha. It's coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It's going to allow you to play through all 9 episodes of the core saga, travel through hyperspace, and explore over 20 unlockable planets, and experience an exciting mix of gameplay from chaining attacks in lightsaber combat to space battles. You can also unlock and choose from over 300 characters, the most ever in a Lego Star Wars video game. Well, I am sold. I am sold on that for sure. That sounds like it's going to be phenomenal. I have a feeling that when this game comes out, Mason and I are going to be very, very busy. Anthony is here. He says, hey, everyone, we just got out of class. Looking forward to your top fives. Anthony did a great job this week. Welcome back to the show, buddy. Anthony did a great job this week sharing with us and with Tom and I and breaking down the latest Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett on Coffee with Kenobi. It was first time ever on Coffee with Kenobi. So, Anthony, nice job, buddy. LJ says, is this the top 5 Cincinnati Bengals episode of CWK Live? It is. Congratulations again, man. I know you and Mary are very happy. It's the best the Bengals have done in a very long time, so we're excited for them. Now it's them against Kansas City, so that's where my loyalty is going to have to stop because Mason is a big Chiefs fan. And by the way, what an insane football weekend. We won't get into football a lot because it's, CWK Live. We're going to talk Star Wars, but it was, if you're a sports fan, probably the greatest individual weekend for football ever as far as all 4 games being popular. Matthew says, Anthony, love this week's episode. Minta says her nephews would love that game, right? It's going to be so fun. Blake cannot wait for the game. 2 years of hype finally happening. I know. Anthony says, thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We all had a great time listening to you, bud. Jamie says, no, the top 5 scoring drives in the last 2 minutes of the Bills versus Chiefs game. Exactly. That was crazy. Mary says, Anthony, great show this week. Enjoyed your guest host very much. That's right. And be sure to check out Forced Ghost Conversations where you can hear Anthony every single week. And he also says he's going to be playing Lego on day 1. And as far as if Mason is a Lego fan, not a Lego fan, I'm sorry, a Chiefs fan, that's a lot of exclamation points. That's as many yards as Patrick Mahomes had passing, I think. Daniel says, wish I was a gamer for something like this. Well, Daniel, I used to be a big gamer. I like video games now mostly because Mason likes them. But to me, I'm just going to play it. We have a PlayStation 4, honestly, we have a PS4. It's the best Blu-ray player you can possibly get to. So that's the main reason I got it. And the Spider-Man game, let's be honest. So that's good stuff. That's why I got it. Matthew says he loves all the games that went on NFL. And Mason says, go Chiefs, go Mahomes. Nice. Amber is excited about the Lego game for sure. Everybody's bringing it. So Anthony says more great things to come. Blake says Anthony was fantastic this week on CWK. Anthony, it was our honor to have you on, so it was very kind. Can we pre-order the game yet, Amber? I don't know. That's a great question. Let me see if it says anything on StarWars.com. I don't see anything about it yet. I don't know. Can somebody pull it up and look and see if you can pre-order? That's a good question. It's a very good question. Get it on Mason's. Let's get on the Switch. Mason Matthew's son also loves the Chiefs. Hello, Ben. What's up, man? He says, I'm a casual gamer, and this is a perfect game for casual gamers like me. I agree with that. It is a nice game. It's not like it takes a ton of brain power. It does make you think, I will say that. But it's just fun. It's just fun. These games should be fun, right? Not take it so seriously. So that's good stuff. All right. I love that very much. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. But the main reason you came, Ben says, I think you can pre-order by it. Last I checked, they hadn't updated the release date yet. Okay. Well, that helps. That helps a lot. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to go into our top 5, naturally. Oh, Ross just posted the GameStop pre-order if you want to do that for the Xbox One. So if you're interested in doing that, go right ahead. Here's the category image. Let me pull that up here. There we go. Top 5 moments in the Book of Boba Fett episode, The Gathering Storm. The Gathering Storm. Anthony says, Lego games are the perfect blend of immersion and humor. I agree with that. I really liked that Indiana Jones one when they had the original trilogy on Indiana Jones. That was great. Daniel says PS4. Yep, I think it's worth it, bud. Actually, the Switch is probably your best bet because you can play all the old school Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, and Sega Genesis games on that. So I would get the Nintendo Switch, Daniel, now that I think about it, unless you have a bunch of Blu-rays. Ben, correction, it's updated now. You can pre-order. Fantastic. Well, thanks, everybody, for letting us know that not only is everyone listening now aware of that, but also when you're listening to the show on the podcast feed or you're watching it later on YouTube or Instagram, now you all have that information as well, which is great. All right, let's talk the top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett, The Gathering Storm. To me, I still think the second episode is the best of the season so far, but this one was very good. Very, very good. I thought it was a great fun, very powerful, very entertaining with some fun, interesting stuff that we learned about the mythology as well as some great action sequences and Black Chrysanthemum. They're not calling him Black Chrysanthemum anymore, at least they're not on the show, so maybe he's just Chrysanthemum. It's going to be hard to unlearn that. I've been calling that from the comics and the Dr. Aphra audiobook, but hey, it's okay. Matthew says, best episode yet. Well, a lot of people certainly think so. I don't think you could go wrong saying so. I really liked it a lot. I still think, I think that like the second one the best, but this one was pretty great. But my number 5 is mapping. I talked about this on the show this week, but Fennec Shan has this small, it almost looked like a Sith probe droid, but it was like a small little droid that goes into Jabba's palace and goes through every level of Jabba's palace and basically gives like a digital map that the droid comes out and shows to Fennec Shand and to Boba Fett so they can see the different levels. And I love that. I mean, if this was a thing in Dungeons and Dragons, it would be very, very helpful. But I just like the technology of that. It felt very immersive and very handy, and it made it more plausible as to how they could get around and know what was going on. So I enjoyed that. I thought that was cool. And by the way, that's Mason's number 5 as well. But that's the only time he and I believe, tie. And because there are so many of you joining tonight, which I absolutely love, obviously you've all brought a friend or at least put the word out. So thank you for doing that. Continue to do so. It makes such a difference in helping spread the word about this wonderful community that we have. Amber also thinks it was the best episode. I'm assuming you're agreeing with Matthew, or Amber, are you saying that the second one is best? Either way, again, can't go wrong. Minta's number 5, the backstory of how Fennec was saved by Boba Fett. Yes, we finally got that. Number 5 for Mary, the rat droid chase was hilarious. My Disney brain made me think about the new Remy ride. Oh, interesting. I've not ridden that yet, Mary. So interesting. Thanks for pointing that out. That's good. Ross is number 5. Boba is in his relationship with his bantha, and the extra animatronics of the bantha's tongue and tail. Did this affinity towards animals exist before he came to Tatooine, or will we see any of it in flashbacks? You know, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. That's a great question. LJ, the cinematography, set design of the episode, the desert landscape looked amazing, especially at night in the scene where Boba recruits Fennec and the shots of Jabba/Bib's palace. That is great. And I always appreciate when you bring these things up, LJ, because I think visually this is a really great looking show. I mean, obviously, when you're working on Star Wars, you know how to make things look gorgeous, and they definitely do that. So that is very good. Liberty, number 5, is continued relationship with the bantha. How he turned her loose, loved her tongue and tail wagging. I can't believe I forgot all the fun bantha stuff for my top 5. This is great, though, right? I've got so many that it's hard to remember everything you want. I should probably take notes the first time I watch it, but I just kind of want to pour in and just watch it the first time, you know? But that's a great one. That's why all of us together can bring up all the great moments from the episode. Let's see. Okay, just checking my lighting sequence here. Brian's Fennec's backstory and how Boba saved her with a trip to the mod parlor. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about the mod parlor a lot tonight. Amber's number 5. Boba and the bantha were so cute. He's like a dog for Boba, right? I agree with that. Number 5 for Blake, Boba's relationship with his bantha. Any pet owner I feel could relate to him in this episode at some point. Agreed. Daniel's number 5, Fennec's mod story revealed, kind of like the mod parlor and how it was used to describe or demonstrate how the mods do their thing. Tom pointed out this week on Coffee with Kenobi. It reminded him of a tattoo parlor, and I thought the same thing as well. So Daniel, good point. Number 5 for Jamie, Fennec Shan's new look. Aren't you going to close her up and cover all that beautiful machinery? Yeah, and she didn't seem to mind. I mean, I guess if she does, we'll find out later. But yeah, that was neat. LJ, the first rule of CWK Live, you have to tell everyone about CWK Live. Exactly. It's in the bylaws, right? Yeah, I thought so too. Number 5 for Ben, revisiting the Sarlacc pit. I wasn't expecting it, but I like that he got the last laugh and got another seismic charge. Wow, bringing out the big ones for number 5. Very good. Matthew, the entire Fett ship versus the Sarlacc was his number 5. Very good, Matthew. I think that's great. It's definitely going to come up later for me. And then, as I said, Mason likes the mapping like I did. Mason is randomly inserting something. He says, I love the Calvin and Hobbes books. Very good. There's actually a cool picture of Calvin and Hobbes as Han Solo and Chewbacca. Mason, I'll have to show you later. But we're going to get back to number 4. Number 4 for me, Chrysanthemum Skulks. I was going to say Chrysanthemum Drunken Binge, but I don't know, I don't know how much inebriation it takes to affect a Wookiee, especially one like him. But Mason liked that. Very good. Chrysanthemum is great. Like, I was so happy he was there. I was petrified of him because I knew how dangerous he was. But the fact that they're personalizing him and giving him more of I'm not going to say he's dynamic because right now he's certainly not, but he is fun and he's interesting. And when he's on screen, you can't take your eyes off of him. And his impact, I will say, in the Mayor's Casino there is really, really great. And then that poor Trandoshan didn't have a chance. Definitely, probably some echoes there of the history of the Trandoshans and the Wookiees. So that whole sequence was great. And then the way Boba Fett recruits him, and now he's on Team Fett, at least for now anyway, at the time of this recording. So I really like the Chrysanthemum sequence quite a bit. Okay, Minta also like Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah, man, Calvin and Hobbes is the best. Minta's number 4 is the Rat Droid. He was a comic relief and just adorable. I want one. And Stephen Stanton pointed out on Facebook that Rat Droid was in one of the Meeber Gascon episodes from the Clone Wars as well. Number 4 for Ross, Chrysanthemum paying his tab rather than refraining from removing a Trandoshan's arm. I mean, he did show some restraint by only removing one limb. Yes, right? We're so proud of him, all that personal growth. Liberty's number 4, Fennec Shan showing why her bounty is high. She's just that good. That shot with the weight to open the door, both her actual shot and the way it was filmed, just great. Yeah, I was glad to see Fennec get some attention and have the spotlight on her. I think that's long overdue, and I'm glad to see it. Number 4 for Brian, Boba's compassion toward Fennec. He saves her and flips the script. The Tuskens save Boba, and then Boba, the last of his tribe, saves Fennec. Good, Brian. I like that connection. Very, very well done, sir. Very well done. Mary's number 4, the ship over the Sarlacc pit. The Seismic Charge, and then Boba down in the pit looking for his Beskar. We got confirmation that his armor is Beskar, and exactly why he's needed the back to treatments. It was good to hear that. Definitely good to hear that stuff. I always like getting the information. Amber's 4, flares in the sky from the Mandalorian, episode 5, the Gunslinger. Dun dun dun. First time I heard the man mention the Mandalorian. That's probably going to come up again. And speaking of, Jamie says number 4, the inclusion of the Mandalorian theme music, first just a hint, and then full melody at the end. We can only hope what this will lead to. And that is my thought exactly. We can only hope. There's no confirmations and no guarantees, but you know what? We know how leitmotifs work, sort of like in Jaws, dunna, dunna. When you hear certain music, we've come to expect things from movies, from cinema, certainly from Star Wars. These songs, everybody's got a theme. They all have weight. So when you hear the Mandalorian music, you're optimistic about what the future will hold. But again, who knows? Matthew, Boba Fett seeing trouble and swiftly racing to help out the slowest moving creature on the desert. Yes, that's right. He does, doesn't he? LJ's for the Mod Parlor. It was interesting to see a different side of the Tatooine underworld, even down to the techno music. Side note, people on Tatooine are really strict about their appointments. Yes, they are, so don't be late if you have an appointment on Tatooine. Number 4 for Blake, seeing Thundercat as the mod who worked on Fennec. Music fans look him up. He's done everything from hardcore punk to R&B as a talented bass player. Blake, that is good to know. I had no idea. I figured he was recognizable or a person of fame in the world of music, but I wasn't sure, so now I do, so thank you. Daniel's 4, Black Chrysanthemum's rampage in the sanctuary. I just knew there was going to be one less attached limb. Love that Beale had more of a speaking part. Yeah, Jennifer Beale had much more to say. She was pretty charming, too. That was cool. Ben, the kitchen fight scene. All 3 droids were just great. The scene was humorous, and now I need a Funko Pop of the Edward Scissorhands droid. Edward Scissorhands droid, that's good. That's good. Number 4 for Mason is the entire flashback. He just lumped it all into one. The whole flashback sequence of Fett rescuing Fennec Shan, saving her, and them teaming up and getting Boba Fett's starship. So that was all for number 4 for Mason. Very good. Okay, let's go into number 3. Boy, we got a lot to say about this episode, which is nice. Very nice. Number 3, some of you have already mentioned, but the Seismic Charge, right? How great was that. The Seismic Charge was exciting and spectacular because when she finally hits that switch, you know it's going to happen because we love it. We've seen it twice now in Star Wars. This is the third time's a charm, unless you are the Sarlacc itself. Boom, you got a Sarlacc salad. It's just great. I mean, that's the only way they had to end, the ultimate revenge for this thing that nearly took Boba Fett and took him from us as fans for, gosh, since 1983 until Mandalorian Season 2. So that was to me, that was the way it had to end. Number 3 for Ross, the Mod Parlor. More level 1313 vibes and another cool new Tatooine setting. The graffiti on the outside walls and the galactic techno pulsating was the perfect introduction to the modifier, a real-life SoCal punk music legend. Okay, well, there you go again. I had no idea, but Ross and Blake have enlightened us. Meantime, Chrysanthemum versus the Trandoshans. Too bad no one could give the poor Trandoshan a hand. Ah, that deserves a rim shot. Very good. A little dad joke there for you. Mary's number 3. Boba finding Fennec and taking her to the Mod Parlor. How their relationship then develops from there. That's right. That's right. And it's hopefully we'll get to see a lot of it, how it evolves. Number 3 for Liberty. The entire Sarlacc scene. Loved the way they shot it. The shadow that passes over the pit. The jump scene was great. Next time, don't touch my buttons. I was like so nervous when his ship was down right in the Sarlacc, and I kept thinking, really? You're that close? Did we not learn anything? So that was definitely a nice, scary moment. Number 3 for LJ. Chrysanthemum at the casino, drinking and skulking at the casino. After losing a bunch of money, hit way too close to home. Oh, really? Interesting, LJ. That's a story for another time, I suppose. Number 3 for Ben. Boba expresses guilt. I wanted to know how he's dealing with the aftermath of losing the tribe. I could imagine it was great to hear him put it into words. I'm a fan of defining character moments, which you'll see in my number 1. Good, Ben. I'm glad. And I talked about that a lot on Coffee with Kenobi this week. The defining character moments and hearing that Fett has guilt about what happened to the Tuskens, I think is very important. And definitely something we shouldn't sweep under the rug. Number 3 for Brian. Chrysanthemum's rampage against the Trandoshans. Someone had to lose an arm. And I don't know why I didn't expect that to happen, but it was definitely like, of course, it's a Wookiee. Makes sense. Amber, number 3, the flashback sequence from the Mod Parlor and Fennec's backstory to Seismic Charge and Bib Fortuna. That was very cool. Very cool. Good one. Next for Matthew, Fett chasing the rat chaser droid around the kitchen and seeing it again at Fett's dinner meeting back in service. That's right. Blake's number 3, don't touch my buttons. Boba and Fennec's relationship early on was portrayed in a perfect way for me, comedic, but also serious. Yes. People got really worked up about that. I don't know. I just thought, well, okay. It makes sense. She was able to reach it, so she did. And we move on. Jamie's number 3, the Seismic Charge for me too, but I love the humor afterwards as well. Next time, don't touch my buttons. Similar to what Blake just said. Yeah, a little bit of comedic relief there. Number 3 for Daniel, the tour / layout of Jabba's palace. Love the recon orb that Fennec deploys. A recon orb, if that's what it's called. That works for me. I love that thing too. It's awesome. Give the Trandoshan arm instead. Wah, wah. Matthew, the raid on Fortuna's palace and battle for the Fett ship. Great action. That was a great action sequence. Maybe the best overall action sequence besides Chrysanthemum attacking Boba Fett when he's in the Bacta tank in the episode. Yeah. Amber didn't notice that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Really cool. All right, let's go ahead and... Well, Mason's number 3. Did I mention your 3? No, number 3 for Mason is when the Rancor pops up at the end of the episode to kind of remind everybody who's in charge, and that would be Boba Fett, of course. Of course. Okay, let's go to number 2. Number 2, I put Fireside Chat. So this is Anthony King's term. I loved it, so Anthony, I'm borrowing it. Thank you. But I did cite you as a source, so there you go. But there are 3 different times when they sit around a campfire and they talk, and we learn that Boba Fett feels guilty about what happened with the Tuskens. We see how he and Fennec Shand develop a bond, and how they agree to team up, and why they agree to team up. And I found it all very important, very interesting, and basically essential to why these two are together and why they are teaming up and what it's in it for both of them. I really like that Boba Fett says, "I'm tired of idiots almost getting us killed. We're smarter than these people. Why aren't we in charge?" I love that. I love that. There's a lot of reasons for that, for sure. So yeah, that's my number 2. Fireside Chats. Mean says number 2. Next time, don't push my buttons. That seemed made me lack after the Sarlacc was blown up. Yes. Anthony, you are welcome for the credit. I'm an English teacher. I got to cite my sources, man. Number 2 for Ross. Hint of the Mandalorian theme music during the flares over the Dune Sea. And then full on for the end scene. Both were vocally cheerworthy and made it even harder to wait an entire week for Chapter 5. I know, but good news is we're just 2 days away, so that's great. Number 2 for Brian. The genius of meeting the other clans and eating over a hungry Rancor pit. The claws at the end made us jump. Wasn't that great? That was so great. I love that. Yeah, I mean to no worries. I knew exactly what you meant. Liberty's number 2, the realization that the timeline is closing the gap with the Mandalorian seeing Boba walk up and hear the spurs. Just cool to know it's tying into Mando. I know, there's so much potential here, isn't there? LJ, Bo's interactions with his bantha. It's really interesting to see him continue to bond with creatures. Hopefully we'll get to explore this further. I hope so too. Liberty says, yes, their faces. Yeah, when they found out they were sitting on a Rancor trapdoor, that'll get you woken up pretty quickly. Number 2 for Daniel, the Mandalorian theme, the conclusion, goosebump moment. Very much so. Very much so. Jamie's number 2. The chef and sous chef, hilarious, and love the spinning blades. A nice little homage to General Grievous, of course. Mary's number 2, Chrysanthemum in the cantina, and then joining with Boba and Fennec. His reactions during the fight scene and also in the palace in the background are great. The Rancor putting his claws at the grate was so good. I love it. I love that part. Number 2, the fire spray/slave one/Boba's ship. Starship, whatever anyone wants to call it, mowing down the biker gang. That moment gave me a similar feeling to Boba's return of Mando season 2. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was quick. I wanted more of that, but that was more like, okay, I got the high ground for sure. Look out. I feel like we'll see more of that later. We'll find out. Matthew, Fett's reasoning for wanting to take charge and giving Chrysanthemum a second chance, even though Chrysanthemum tried to kill Fett. Yeah, but he did say no hard feelings, so I guess he's a man of his word, right? Ben's 2. Boba settles the first score with the Nikto Riders. I'm glad that we're seeing the hero side of Boba in the series. This was a good reminder. He's still an anti-hero in the end. Yeah, I mean, he did kill him. Didn't even give him a chance to explain themselves, but, Boba Fett is a different kind of a protagonist. Number 2 for Amber, Chrysanthemum at the bar and having a full-on temper tantrum, breaking the poor Trandoshan's arm, but it will grow back. Exactly, and that's what I believe. Who said that? Oh, I think, Anthony, did you say their wife mentioned that when you guys were watching it? Yeah, I think so. All right. Mason's number 2 was the Mandalorian music at the end as well. And just knowing that there's a chance that we might actually see the Mandalorian. Hopefully. Again, I don't feel like it's speculation or spoiling. I mean, that was the music. That was the theme. That theme is unmistakable. So we're optimistic that will happen. But we're going to get into number 1. I thought so, Anthony. I thought you mentioned that. We're going to get to number 1. Number 1 from the Gathering Storm for me is the Rancor Reminder. It's been mentioned several times, so I won't spend too much time on it, but when they say, what's to stop us from just killing you now? And all of a sudden, boom, here comes the claws, pushes everybody up on the table, and then Boba Fett says something like affectionate, you might say, to a pet, and drops like a little chicken bone down there or something, and it's just kind of a smug little reminder, like, what? Oh, you guys saw that? He's got a Rancor. You've got a Hulk. He's got a Rancor. So look out, everybody. So that's going to be fun. We're going to get a nice payoff for that, and I can't wait until we do. So that is definitely my number 1. I will say an honorable mention, though, is Boba's bond with the Banthas. That's a lot of B's. Boba's bond with the Banthas. Hey, that sounds like the topic of a podcast. Or a podcast title. Hello. So I just like that, too, as an honorable mention. Let's get your number 1s. Matthew said, Homer Simpson asked him if his arm would grow back when someone threatened to take it off. Oh, interesting. Isn't that interesting? I had forgotten about that. Ross, the Fennec-Sode, her backstory with Boba, the display of her strategic skill and fighting prowess, brave, ruthless, and an almost perfect shot. She does too much in the episode to call it all out, but why was she on Tatooine to begin with? That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, Ross. I guess we'll find out, hopefully. LJ's number 1. Boba uses his starship to investigate the Sarlacc pit. He channeled his inner Han Solo by having a terrible plan, yet inexplicably escaping. Interesting. Was it a terrible plan, or is he just so determined that he doesn't? Oh, maybe. Yeah, I see what you're saying, LJ, for sure. Number 1 for Daniel. The reveal of the Boba's ship and the obliteration of the Nikto biker gang. I'm thinking they were the wrong people to get blasted. But now he's headed for the Pikes. Man, that is going to be something else, isn't it? Number 1 for Minta. After Boba and Fennec managed to unite the other houses, it was a pleasant surprise. When the Mandalorian theme music played, hopefully we will get a certain character return. I hope so. Number 1 for Liberty. Speaking of, credits canned by you, Muscle. Cue the Mando theme. Are you kidding me? It actually gave me chills, so I so hope they give us that payday. I think we're all hoping that. That would be so awesome. Number 1 for Brian. Star Wars Math. Seismic Charge greater than Sarlacc. I don't think there's anything that can't be solved by a Seismic Charge. Agreed, Brian. I like your math there. Number 1 for Blake. The Mando score played at the end. Dave and John don't play mind games with their shows. When they show or hint something is what it is. We're getting someone from the Mandalorian to show up, and I can't wait. I can't wait either, my friend. Number 1 for Mary. The entire scene of getting the ship back. Boba's love of his bantha. Go make little baby banthas. He loves the ship as well as she's a little rusty. That's good. Good line there from the show, too. Jamie, the Rancor Reminder is my number 1 as well. Yeah, man. It was awesome. Paul says, dang, I'm late. Number 1, he got his ship back. Cool. Paul, no problem, man. We saved you a seat. You're never late, bud. Matthew, the phenomenal music throughout the episode. So many different styles and helped enforce the emotions that were being revealed through this episode. And, of course, the Mandalorian theme. Mary, side note, when Lucasfilm and Disney Plus announced these shows, I believe they said there would be crossovers and the stories would culminate together at some point. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, I think that's correct. I think that was mentioned in an interview. I can't remember if it was Kathy Kennedy or Iger said that, or I can't remember who. But yeah, that sounds like correct to me. And I mean, it's not like you're not going to see it on StarWars.com per se, but I do feel like that was mentioned in an interview. Number 1 for Amber, the Mandalorian theme playing at the end. And Liberty says, Obi-Wan got away. Dun, dun, dun. Mason's number 1 is the Seismic Charge. That was my number 3. That's his number 1. A lot of people love that part. It's epic. Anytime you see that thing, you know it's a big payoff. For me, now that we've seen the Seismic Charge used once here, once in Mando, and of course, most famously in Attack of the Clones, I hope we don't see it for a really long time, because I think it has more power when you use it less. I mean, I'm looking forward to it being wrong, but we'll see. Ben says, you can only get so far without a tribe. It was a great line, but the setup was even better. Fennec calls him soft, which some critics have said. This is a great reminder that Boba has grown, and he proves it. Yes, he does, Ben. Nice number 1. And Matthew mentions our friend Jim Hill. He says he did mention there'll be crossovers on Looking at Lucasfilm. Yes, I'm sure that he did. It's been a while. We've done so many of those shows, but I don't remember that. But I'm sure that he did. And like Mary said earlier, I'm pretty sure it was mentioned on an interview, for sure. Okay, I already mentioned Mason's number 1, the Seismic Charge. So we should announce next week's topic. To no one's surprise, it is the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5 Moments. Chapter 5 Moments from the Book of Boba Fett will be the next episode, or the next topic for CWK Live. Very good. Well, thank you, everybody, for contributing. I love that everybody prepares their list. You all have your homework. You always do it. You always do a great job. So A+ to all of you here on CWK Live. So let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. All right, as you're getting your questions ready, let me remind you of what happened on CWK Pour Over this week. We had Mark Suter from Idiots Array and Tarkin's Top Shelf. He is one of the longest members of the CWK Alliance. He might have been one of the first ones that ever joined our Patreon page. But we did our top 5 books, and I got to tell you, it was a blast. And maybe one of my favorite topics we've ever done on Prover. We're closing in on 200 shows. So if you're only listening to Coffee with Kenobi and CWK Live, you're not getting everything from Coffee with Kenobi. This one is fun because it was all books, biographies, nonfiction, fiction, classic literature, Star Wars books, all kinds of stuff. So I really highly recommend that. Yes, of course, you have to be a member of the CWK Alliance to listen, but we give back to you with these exclusive podcasts, video and audio podcasts every single week. The Book of Boba Fett, The Gathering Storm is what we're talking about now. We did much more detail this week on Coffee with Kenobi. It was myself, Anthony King, and Tom Gross. Had a great time. So hopefully you will check it out and let us know. And by the way, when you do listen to it or when you're done listening to it, if you haven't done so already, please go on iTunes or Google Podcasts or also on Spotify, by the way. Rate and review the show. Every time you rate and review a podcast that you like, whether it's Coffee with Kenobi or another podcast you're a fan of, it bumps it up in the search. So if anybody types in Star Wars, the more reviews that I have on Coffee with Kenobi, the more likely my show will raise to the top and more people can find and join this community. So that is why you always hear podcasters say, hey, rate and review the show, because it makes a difference in people who don't know about the show, helping them find us. Mason wants me to rate Calvin and Hobbes 1 to 10. It's a 10. Of course, Calvin and Hobbes is great. It's clever, smart, and cute. LJ subtly says, join the Patreon cowards. The sensitivity training is working, LJ. Nice job. And in all seriousness, thank you for the plug. I would love for people to be members of the CWK Alliance. www.coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. You can join our Patreon page. Is my boy Dan reading any Star Wars novels or comics at the moment, old or new? So I just finished The Fallen Star, of course. We had Claudia Gray on last week. Hopefully you got to see. It was Claudia Gray's first appearance on Coffee with Kenobi on the podcast. I'd interviewed her before for StarWars.com, but never for the podcast, so that was great. She was super cool, gave some great insights. We're going to have Claudia on later in the year to talk also about the Fallen Star again, but with spoilers. But I wanted to wait and give you all a couple of months to get a chance to read it, and we'll have Claudia on again. Again, Aminta gives Calvin Hobbes a 20 out of 10, Mason. When does the next High Republic book release? The ending of Fallen Star leaves us wanting so much more. Comes out a couple weeks, less than a couple weeks. Yeah, I've got my copy, and I won't say anything about it, but yeah, it comes out pretty soon. Less than a couple weeks for sure. Ben, any ideas when we're getting the next Disney Plus Star Wars series? I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything either. I know that in March we're getting Moon Knight. It seems like they go Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvels. I mean, that's not exactly a science, but I feel like, I don't know, it'll be sometime March or later, hopefully. I'm hopeful. Mason says it's 1 gazillion billion for Calvin and Hobbes. It's pretty great. Has his book signing been rescheduled yet? Not yet, LJ, but I'll let you know. I'm assuming it'll be when it's warmer outside, but I will certainly let you know. Thank you for your interest. It's like we're going to have quite a crowd. A lot of members of the CWK Alliance, a lot of members of the Coffee with Kenobi family. We're going to come. So when that does happen, I will definitely be sure to let everyone know. Does Garza Whip need to talk to Olga about a 2-drink minimum for Wookiees? Yes, she does. Yes, she does. But are you going to be the one to try to limit Chrysanthemum, Ross? You are a powerful fellow, but Chrysanthemum is a pretty tough guy, so we'll see. I think you're one of the top results for Star Wars on Apple Podcasts. Well, thank you, Amber. I hope that might be right. I think I'm getting up there pretty high, but again, the more reviews we have, the better. So keep them coming. Thank you, Amber, for checking in on that too. Blake says Calvin Hobbes is too great to even give it a score, right? I agree. Brian says, nice one, Ross. I know that was pretty clever. 2-drink minimum. Kenobi, may the Force drop. Ooh, wouldn't that be the coolest? Oh, I would love that. I would love that. Ross is going to let Blake be the bouncer. That's a good one. That's a good one. Blake can take care of it. Matthew says, next might be Kenobi, but not sure. Just speculating. Bad Batch around June. Again, speculation. Yep, no idea. No idea. Ben wants to know how teaching has been going. I've been thinking about all the teachers out there. Well, Ben, thank you for checking on that. You know what? It's definitely challenging. I mean, I feel like education and the medical profession have a lot of extra challenges that are very unique to our professions. But you know what? I am wearing my mask at school every day. Try to take care of myself. I keep social distancing in my classroom and try to follow the health and safety protocols, get my vaccine, get vaccinated. So I've done all those things. So far I've been doing great, and hopefully that continues. Thank you for checking, Ben. As far as the students go and the learning and the activity, it's great. I love my job. I love my students, and I love where I work. So life is good for me. Thank you. Blake says he'd be drinking with a Wookiee. Yeah, probably. Probably have to give you that minimum, I would say. One of the top results. No way we're shooting for number 1. Exactly. I like it. I like it, LJ. Number 1 would be great. Ben says Bad Batch May the 4th drop. Either that or Kenobi. Either would be great. Anthony says fantastic show as always, friends. Great to geek out about Star Wars with each of you. It is great. Mason says, I appreciate you, Anthony, very much. All of you appreciate very much. Mason says Bad Batch on my birthday, I hope. Well, that'd be great. Mason's birthday is June 12th, so we would love that. LJ says Ross social distance for me at Indy Comic-Con. By that, I mean he ghosted me. Oh my. Well, I'm going to stay out of that one. Matthew says my school was virtual the first few weeks after winter break. Back in, everybody's ready for midterms. Well, that's great. Well, good luck, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew is also an educator. I want to thank all of you for supporting Coffee with Kenobi each and every week, whether it is here or if you are a member of our Patreon page. That is certainly the way to do that as well. You can be a member of the CWK Alliance right there at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. You can also go naturally to the CWK Cafe, our weekly exclusive Facebook group. We talk all about Star Wars all the time. We really hit the new episodes of Disney Plus shows when they come out, show pictures of our collectibles, give links to pre-orders. It's just really a great time. Amber, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us. Mary, have a great week. Brian, a great week to start the week. Thank you so much. I agree. Great to spend time with all of you. Matthew says, another great show. Thank you, Dan and everyone. Thank you, Matthew, for joining us and for spreading the word. Minta, thanks. May the force be with you. Thanks for always being the first person to chime in. Blake says, you seriously are the best. All of us here and everyone listening in the CWK fam is the best community in the Star Wars universe. Well, you're not going to get an argument from me, Blake. It's because of all of you that this thing is so awesome. LJ, great show. Thanks so much because of all of you, man. And, have fun. This weekend is going to be a great weekend to watch football again. We're looking forward to it. Ross, have a positive and fun week to you as well. Liberty, nice to hang out with you. May the force be with you. And Daniel, nice time spending with you. Thanks so much, everybody. I just suddenly had a worry that I didn't have my... So, on behalf of everybody here who joined us, we will see you next week at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time for Facebook Live, where we talk about the 5th episode in the Book of Boba Fett. Until then, have a great week and weekend. Stick around and see us on Thursday. The show's going to be dropping a little bit later on Thursday, since I'm going to be gone Wednesday, so I won't be able to do the normal show and release it, but it'll come out Thursday for you to break down fully Chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. And then, of course, next Monday, we'll talk about it here. Until then, see you next time, everybody. Thanks so much. May the Force be with you.